said, stick by me, you'll be your guiding hand. But don't ask me what I think of you, I might not give the answer that you want me to.
Howdy, I'm Joe, and this is my show, Joe's Rides. In these videos, myself and my glamorous assistant Caden will show you what we get up to in my workshop in town, repairing mostly Land Rovers, along with a few classic cars, hot rods, American cars, all sorts. We'll also do some videos from my workshops at home, where you will see some of my projects, more cars, bikes, hot rods, odds and sods, you name it. So if you like petrol, oil, dirt and beer, then tune in. If you're a bit woke, left wing, if you believe in climate change or you're vegan, then fuck off! Well, after what seemed like months and months of continuous rain, the sun's finally come out, hopefully for good. And when the sun comes out, then the toys come out. So this is my Willis Jeep. This predominantly lives down here at work. It's been under cover for the winter, but as I say, now the sun's out, then the Jeeps come out, and I'll use this daily for running backwards and forwards to work. It is a Willis M38-A1 Jeep. I don't know much about Jeeps, so I don't know what M38-A1 refers to. It will have some meaning, of course, but I don't know what that meaning is. I haven't had this particularly long, I've only had it about a year. I got it last year. I wasn't looking for a Jeep at all. I've always liked Jeeps, but I didn't go looking for one. But I responded to an advert that a farmer had put up, a local farmer to me, for some old agricultural wheels. So I went over to his farm to buy these wheels, and I went there in my Land Rover pickup, and he got talking to me about Land Rovers, and he said, "Oh, come and look in the barn, come and look at my Land Rover." So I went and looked in the barn at his Land Rover and was chatting around about that. But I could see this Willis Jeep sat in the corner of the barn, a lot of straw and bird shit all over it, looked a little bit neglected. So I got chatting to him about it, and he'd fallen out of love with it. He said he hadn't had it long himself, and one day it failed to start. He wasn't very mechanically minded himself, so he had a mobile mechanic guy to come out and have a look at it, and this guy come out and looked at it 3 occasions, and on 3 occasions didn't get it running, and on 3 occasions took money off him, which I thought was a little bit bad. Anyway, so the farmer had sort of fallen out of love with it, so I bought it off him, and I bought it off him very cheaply. I've done remarkably well with it. I gave him what he wanted for it. Yeah, it came to become part of my stable now. Like I say, didn't go looking for one, but now I've got it, I quite like it. Initially I did think I might just clean it up and sell it, but now I've got it. I quite enjoy driving it around, particularly in the summer with the doors and the sides off. It's nice and cool, nice breeze. So yeah, the Jeep itself, it's 24 volt. The batteries live in this compartment here on the bulkhead. So there's 2 batteries, 2 12 volt batteries making up a 24 volt system. That's just my 24 volt charger, which I'll give it a trickle with, give them a trickle over the winter. There's a 24 volt socket there, presumably for jump starting this vehicle, or presumably also for providing 24 volts to other vehicles, etc. Standard sort of military bar grip tyres. It's got a little 4-cylinder petrol engine. I was really pleased when I looked at this, because I can tell that it's a Recon engine, and it's got a brand new carburettor on it, and it just runs like a watch. Really happy with it. It's all geared up for wading, so it's been waterproofed. The ignition system is shielded, presumably for the radio communications. Yeah, so I didn't really have to do a lot to it, to be fair. There was a little bit of a hole in one of the wings, which I welded up, and then I just gave it a really good service, changed all the oils, topped everything up, greased everything, blah blah blah. And so far, touch wood, it's been a really good friend. Really enjoying it. Handy shovel underneath the bonnet there. It's still got its convoy lights. The canvas tilt is in really good condition. I think that's probably been replaced at some stage. And it does have canvas doors and sides which are equally in good condition. But yeah, I won't be driving this in the winter, so this is how it is in the summer. Very similar to a Land Rover in lots of respects. There again, I suppose we have to be mindful that Land Rover itself was really based on a World War II Willis Jeep from the outset, so there was pretty much bound to have been similarities. So it's got a 3-speed manual box, and much like a Land Rover, it's got the extra gear levers there for 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive and high and low ranges. Very simple sort of switch gear and instruments, etc. All the bare minimum. You just turn on a battery master switch, turn on an ignition switch. There's no key as such. And then there's a foot switch on the floor which engages the starter motor, and bang, away you go. Fairly sort of standard military switch gear for the lights, enabling you to turn on or off various different parts of the lighting system along with the convoy lights. Again, like a Land Rover of a similar age, the fuel tank is underneath the driver's seat. Lovely dangerous position. It's got a little glove box which is handy. Don't get one of them on the Land Rover. Canvas back seat. I wouldn't have thought that's particularly comfortable, but there we go, I don't sit in it. Moving on around the back, again, it's just a very simple vehicle really. Still got its military communications aerial, jerry can holder. It did have a NATO style tow hitch, which I swapped out for a NATO style hitch but with a ball as well, so it's now got the best of both worlds. I guess in my mind, quite often I compare it to a Land Rover of a similar age, which would be, so if these come out in the early 50s and they finished production in the early 70s, I think. So if I took a Land Rover of a similar year, that would be a late Series 1 or an early Series 2, early 50s. And having been involved with Land Rovers all my life and owned one since I was about 16 years old, I've got to say that this Jeep is probably a better product really. And the reason I say that is mainly the way it drives. The steering is so light compared to a Land Rover. I know Land Rovers, if they're all set up right, I mean this is not power steering, by the way, this is just like a manual steering, but it is a joy to drive with the steering. It's really light. Land Rovers are not. The gearbox is just nicer to use. It doesn't crunch, you haven't got a double declutch. It just flicks into gear nicely. So yeah, just drivability. I'll pick this over a Land Rover all day long. Underneath it's very similar to a Land Rover. Again, it's going to be normal gearbox, transfer box, 2 prop shafts, 2 axles. So yeah, it's not dissimilar from them respects. The bodywork is steel, which is obviously more prone to rust than the Land Rover bodywork, which is alloy. The chassis is a C-section. Land Rover's a box section. I think the C-section chassis are better from the respect that they don't rust as much. They don't trap in all the mud and dirt and moisture, whereas box sections do. So once you get crap inside a Land Rover box section chassis, it stays in there, and that's pretty much why they end up rusting out. Whereas a C-section chassis doesn't trap that dirt, so it's going to last longer. So I guess you could twist it round in that maybe the chassis is going to last longer than the Land Rover chassis, but the body's not going to fare as well as Land Rover bodywork. But anyway, it's not going to deteriorate anymore in my ownership. I like it, I like driving it, and hope you like looking at it. Okay, exhaust time. So I've got 2 bits of exhaust downpipe which came with the Cosworth engine, which have been cut off with the O2 lambda sensors in them. I've taken the time to take the O2 sensors out and clean the threads and put them back in. So if any time in the future I need to change these, I know I've got half a chance of them coming out without a battle. So that was the first thing. The other one, which I've just put up here loosely, you can see the angle of that's going to come quite close to this motor which operates the kick down, so I'm going to have to be mindful of that and try and keep that bent out of the way so we're not going to make that motor too hot. I've got a load of 50mm 2-inch tube. We've got a pipe bender underneath the bench. Now I'm fairly sure that the engine that the car that the Cosworth engine was in probably run a 2-into-1 exhaust, but I'm very keen to run dual pipes on this van. And one issue I have is on this side, the downpipe's going to come down and it'll be pretty much a straight run towards the back of the car, up and over the axle, with a silencer near the rear and out of the back. This side, however, I can't do that because the elephant in the room is the petrol tank. So I could bring a pipe down here towards the middle of the car, along the side of the prop shaft there, quite close to the petrol tank, then off to the right, up over the axle and out the back. Not a great idea having the exhaust too close to the petrol tank. I think in reality it wouldn't cause a problem. I'm not that scared of it, but it still wouldn't look easy on the eye, is more to the point for me. I'm not worried about fire risk, I don't think there is one, but I just don't think there's room up the side of that prop shaft to make it look tidy. So I'm going to have to bring it right over to this side of the car, and I think I'm going to run it in parallel with this pipe, so we'll have two pipes very close together. And then this one on this bank will obviously go up and over the axle, and then I'll give it a 90 degree to bring it over to the other side of the car, a 90 degree again to bring it out the back of the car. So lots of bends, lots of fabrication, mounts, joints, etc, etc. It's a fair bit of work. All the other cars I've built, I've used stainless steel tubing, and when I went to buy stainless tubing fittings, etc, for this project, it's just gone up so much. It's viciously expensive, and I couldn't bring myself to pay for it. So I've got everything in mild steel, but this van's not going to be up and down the motorway all day every day, so I think the mild steel exhaust will last a good long time. Would have preferred stainless, but like I say, it's a lot of money, and that's even making it myself. So we'll do it out of mild steel, and we'll get cracking. Okay, well, it's Saturday morning again. Caden's not with me to film today. He's selfishly gone off on a rugby tour to Belgium, drinking beer and having fun, rather than being here underneath dirty transit. So far, I've managed to pretty much complete the downpipes, and then we're taking two straight pipes back along to the back of the van, and then up and over the axle. Where I'd like to be today is to get the whole of the exhaust finished. This is all just tacked together now, and then take it outside, put it on the workbench outside on the drive, and from there I can fully weld it, and then I think I'm going to paint it as well. But yeah, it's coming on cool. About halfway there, I'd say. Okay, so the exhaust is now effectively made. Now I'm taking each different section that I've made off, seam welding the joins together completely. I've added the mounts, and then I'm just painting everything with a high temperature aluminium oxide paint. So there's still quite a way to go, but once these are all done, it'll all get fitted back on for the last time. Okay, so the exhaust is now all fully welded up and painted. So first thing I'm going to do is put the downpipes up. I couldn't get any Cosworth downpipe gaskets. I didn't try too hard. I'm sure they're out there, but I couldn't get any when I was asking. So I went into Motor Factors with one of the old ones and found these two tin ones, which looks like they'll do the job. And I've also got some copper nuts for the downpipe studs. So hopefully in future, if I need to take them down, they won't be seized. Okay, so downpipes on first. There we go, all done. Excuse me, I bend under the ramp. quite proud of this. It's been a lot of work. It's bank holiday, May Day, bank holiday, Saturday. It's a lovely day outside. I wish I'd have gone out on a motorbike really, but I really wanted to get this done as well. And yeah, I'm pleased with it. This has taken me about 9 hours, I think. Definitely time for a beer. Another one ticked. Okay, another quick thing, something I picked up last week, a bit of a prize to say the least, is this genuine Ford Rally Sport splitter for a Mark III transit van. Since I've been doing this van, which is probably 2 years now, I've only ever seen one of these for sale before, and the minute my eyes set on it, it was sold, and it sold for a lot of money. I think they're very, very rare, few and far between. This one came up for sale on the internet, and I got straight on it and went and bought it. It cost me a lot of money for what it is, but I don't think I'll ever see another one. The guy who sold it to me said he only knew of 4 ever, and he's been into transits forever. So yeah, it's a rare thing. Quite pleased I've got my hands on it. Obviously we've got to paint it black, and this will go on somewhere nearer the end of the project, I suppose. So just a little bit of jewellery. Happy. Well, it's that time in this video for what's in this week's magical mystery box. Had a lot of interest in the magical mystery box this week. I had 27,000 million emails and 14 letters this week asking what's in the magical mystery box, but I'm sure you all know now, nothing is revealed until it's revealed. So this week we thought we'd start investigating drugs, particularly Class A drugs. And I've heard about spice, which is quite a popular one apparently. So I went out last night around some of the rougher pubs and clubs in the local town, asking various different people where I could get some spice. But unfortunately I didn't manage to get any. I was offered various other drugs, but didn't get any spice. I'd just about given up when I was walking home, and I bumped into a Chinese chap, and I thought, well, I'll give it one more last try, and asked him if he might know where I can get some spice. And he took me back to his house, and he got me some Chinese 5-spice. I don't know whether that's good stuff or not, whether I've been tucked up. I don't really know much about these drugs, but so that is what is in this week's magical mystery box, is spice. Chinese 5-spice. So I guess the fact that it's Chinese, it's imported, I guess it's good as the spice that you get here. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how you take spice, whether you inject it or, but I thought I'd probably smoke it. So we've got ourselves some cigarette papers here, and we'll give this stuff a go, see if it's all it's cracked up to be. Certainly smells nice. See what happens. Okay, so another little project you may or may not be interested in, but we'll show you anyway. This is my Dodge Ram motorhome. I won't show you around it just yet. We'll wait till we get it out of this shed and start using it. But quite a lot of the things I go to involve motorbikes. I've got a motorbike trailer. It's not a massive load of hassle to put the bike trailer on the back and cart a few bikes around if I'm going somewhere. But this year I want to tow one of my old cars around as well, particularly my Model T Ford, which will mean going on a trailer. And I'd still like to have a motorbike as well. I probably could put the motorbike on the trailer with the Model T. But anyway, nonetheless, I've decided we're going to make a bike rack, motorbike rack that is. So basically we're going to get a couple of bits of box like these. We're going to bolt them onto this chassis rail in here, and these are going to be our female receivers. I'll then have some thinner box which is going to slide onto the receiver, and from here we can make ourselves a platform and a ramp to put a bike on. So yeah, we're going to have a little play with that today, see what we can knock up. Okay, so we've made and bolted our 2 receivers onto the chassis rails there, and then the next thing we're going to do is decide what length we're going to have this box section, and this will then slide into our receivers, and this will make the platform for our motorbike ramp. I didn't have any box section that was a really snug fit in there, so we've cut some strips of metal and we're going to weld them to this box section, and then when it slides in it'll make up the shortfall in the inner diameter, and it'll keep that fitting nice and snug. So that's the next thing we'll do, is we'll get these, they only need to be tacked onto here, and then we'll decide the lengths and think about starting making the bed of the ramp then. Okay, so we've made our box section frame. I think this might be about as far as we can go today, because I want to cover this in aluminium checker plate, and I don't have enough. But up until this point so far, this has cost absolutely nothing. It's just made out of scrap that I've had laying around. Probably looks like it. So yeah, we're going to cover this in aluminium checker plate next. I have to go and get some of that tomorrow maybe, and then that just leaves us to make a removable ramp to go in to push the bikes up and onto this. And then the other thing we're going to do is drill some holes and put some removable pins through our receivers, so this can be just pulled on and off with the removal of 2 pins. Okay, so we've completed our frame for the bike rack, and we've fitted the receivers for this frame onto the chassis of the camper van. Next thing we're going to do is cover this in a checker plate to make a platform for the bike. I've been down our local steel suppliers and bought an offcut of checker plate, which is quite close to the size of what we want actually. So that was a bit of a result, because this stuff's viciously expensive now. So we'll lay this over our frame, mark out our length, width, and there's a cutout to be put in there which relieves us around the spare wheel, which is bolted to the back of the motorhome. So yeah, we'll get this cut up and get it bolted onto there. Getting close to this now. So there we have it. For what it's worth, if it's of any interest, here's the finished bike rack we made. So it's just got 2 pins to pull and the whole rack comes off. So I can put this rack on and off in kind of like 30 seconds or less really. I made a ramp, obviously, to get the bike up on here. A few eyes for ratchet straps, and yeah, just got this little Yamaha scooter on there. It come out well. Bike rack.
Hey you, remember, like and subscribe.